Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're watching Westworld. This is episode 9 of the second season. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it so far. If you'd like to watch today's full episode, it is available for free in a link in the description below. Just click on it, put the password in and enjoy. So we are on the second to last episode. Hopefully it's a great one today. We could set up for the finale, which usually are the best ones. Last season was great anyway, and hopefully obviously tomorrow's episode is going to be just as good, but I'm hoping that today we lay it all down and get ready for the crazy action. Now I actually thought episode 8 was going to be pretty much Hale and all of the crew going after Dolores. After we seen in 7 she come in and obviously she took the information from Abernathy, and then obviously Hale ended up acquiring the location in which sector from obviously Bernard where Dolores might be holding up with this information. And I thought, like I said last episode, it was going to be all of them fighting to go after it, but no, it wasn't. It was nothing to do with that. It was pretty much the Ghost Nation and their story, and it was pretty interesting if I'm being honest. I still think the person that's kind of like their leader is the guy that pitched the part to Logan. I don't know if we're supposed to know that, or if it is the same person, or if it is, we're not supposed to just like make any resemblance of it, but I think it is anyway. And his story was, you know, he lived in a peaceful village with his you know, with his family. He loved his wife. He promised wherever he goes, she'll go, you know, take my heart with you and you take mine, something like that. And then he ended up finding something that he shouldn't, as he was saying. And basically he ended up finding the village where Arnold was killed by Dolores, and obviously Dolores herself. And he went in and he found the maze. He started getting voices, and it, you know, like it opened up his mind pretty much, and he started drawing the symbols all over the place. One day when he got back to his village, he noticed that he's relived that same day before, pretty much, you know what I mean, because they're on that loop, but this had woken him. And he looked over and seen his wife, and she didn't remember him. And he said, like, you know, I looked at her, could feel everything. She looked at me, I was a complete stranger. He started thinking, what's going on here? He started venturing out, asking questions. He ended up finding one of the facilities. So he went back to his village and he promised to take it. Well, look, like he said, mate, wherever my heart goes, your goes too. He kidnapped his wife and ended up taking her to the facility. He ended up cutting her, well, free. And he was like, calm down, I'm not going to hurt you. Put his hand on her chest and end up saying, you know, wherever I go, you go. And it clicked, and she awoke as well. And she remembered, and obviously they tried to spread the word. He was pretty much drawing symbols all over the place. He went back to his village again, though, because she was taken by the actual, you know, park creators. And this time when he went to get her, it was a different person. Just like Clementine, she was replaced with a new host. Nobody in the village could remember. Do you know what I mean? They all just think it's just normal. They don't notice anything's changing. They live in the same loop. And it kept going and going and going, and he kept trying to find it and see cancers. And he ended up realizing that, you know, he searched the whole world to find his original wife, and the only place he hasn't found or searched is the other side. So he let himself get killed. He let the whole, you know, the people come in, the creators, they took him. He ended up awaking, walking around the facilities, finding her down in the basement where we see all of the decommissioned hosts. He ended up going back to the present, telling everybody, you know, about the people that are coming in and taking them, what they're doing to them, waking everybody's up. They all started remembering the loops, the past lives. He ended up saying and explaining that the reason why he was going after Maeve's kid is because she saved him when he was on a mission one time, and he he promised and vowed to protect her any way possible. And that is why we did see the maze that was drawn on the floor when Maeve ended up falling and dying, because he was trying to warn him all of the times. And he was saying sometimes good deeds are easier to be misconceived as intentions when obviously you live in a certain world, and it's how it's obviously spread. So I do think it was really interesting. I really liked the story, and it basically ended the episode with, you know, Hale stood over Maeve's body talking about how she can communicate with hosts on the fly, quick, changing people's code inside the park, while they've not been able to get in the servers. And she was saying she's doing it now, but who's she talking to? And Maeve was literally lay on the bed, not even moving or speaking, but having a communication conversation with the guys from the Ghost Nation who stood there vowing to protect you know, her daughter for her until she obviously recovers and manages to come and find them herself. So I thought it was a great episode. Hopefully I explained that really, really well, because it was long. It was also kind of like in their mother tongue as well, so it was pretty much a whole episode not really in English, but it was very, very interesting, and I liked it. Hopefully we get another crazy episode today. Thanks for checking it out. If you do enjoy it, please smash the like, it really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's jump into today's episode.
No one else sees it. This thing in me. Even I didn't see it at first. And then one day, it was there. A stain. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized I couldn't remember a time it wasn't there.
Sometimes I forget your humble roots. To The loveliest, richest bookworms I know.
Imagine going to a party like that. I'd rather just stay in bed.
Emily, tell me what you did for charities. I would confirm my father's suspicions you were a Marxist.
Oh, Dolores is there serving. No, she's not.
Is this real?
You brought me to a rally point.
We need to get to a hospital.
You set off a flare.
Yeah, of course. For a long time, I didn't want to think about what happened because I thought I was to blame. Do you remember on my 16th birthday, Mom gave me a jewelry box? When you opened it, little dancer spun in the center. I threw it in the trash. I told her if she wasn't drunk all the time, she'd know that I hadn't danced in years. I pushed her away, but it's not too late for us.
You know what? I reckon it'd be so hard to rekindle something that's like. So say like you got a mate, like that's a dad and daughter, but say like you got a mate and you don't like him anymore, you think they're assholes. But like you want to be mates again. Like how forced like would your time spent together have to be until you start to kind of like enjoy them again? Do you know what I mean? So like if these had not had a relationship in just say 10 years and they'd not really liked each other, like trying to rekindle it, it's be solid, wouldn't it? You'd have to like spend time with them, but force yourself to spend time with them and then try and make yourself enjoy it because you want that outcome to be that outcome. Do you know what I mean? Like I think it'd be just really, really hard.
It was meant for the people who built this place. A tool to ensure their immortality. Your new world is just another one of their traps. Not all of us deserve to make it to the valley beyond.
Was that the body that they found at the start, you reckon? I feel like that happened at the start in episode 1 where he was looking at it on the tablet when Dolores come riding in and she shot him. See, Teddy again, man. This is the second time we've seen him not do something that Dolores has asked.
I singled out and copied the relevant lines in the Madam's code.
Oh, it's spreading. That is zombifying.
Get word to Stubbs, have him mobilize his men.
What about the madam?
If this works, we won't need her anymore.
They'd rather the hosts were destroyed than free.
See what I mean, right? Again, the interesting thing is, I keep going back to it, is that 2 episodes ago we ended with Bernard telling Hale in the current present story timeline where Abernathy could possibly be, and we're still 2 episodes ahead of that, so prior to the finale, on a backstory of Bernard still walking around like before they found out who he actually was as a host. You know what I mean? Like, I do think it's interesting how they decided to do that. Maybe we get, you know, fast forward into that timeline today, because Ford, you know, was Ford trying to prevent them from getting inside of you know, Bernard's head at the end of episode 7. But here, obviously, he's still talking to them. He still needs him to do something before he can obviously get to Elsa, before they could try and get, obviously, to this maze before everybody else.
You spend months here and never find someone you were looking for. Here we are.
I looked everywhere.
It's not a good enough answer, that. His question was right.
You don't believe me, do you? Well, you don't like that, do you? Is that why you started it, your little project?
There's nothing to do with control. What's your angle?
I want in.
Save me.
Sorry, I've had my fill. I'm running for the door. Guess you're not the one who needs saving.
You join me for a nightcap back home.
See, they seem to be getting on well there in this one.
Philanthropy suits you. Ooh, I merely came to pay my respect.
You've had plenty of feelings about me over the years. Respect isn't one of them. We have an agreement, Robert. Delos stays out of your stories. You stay out of the valley.
I didn't break the agreement. Your project did. When was the last time you took a good look at your creation?
Good night.
See, I'm going to do a spoiler about the film The Menu. If you've not seen it, then obviously just skip this little segment. But it's similar to the film The Menu, i.e., like somebody has got a creation, Ford, he's got his restaurant. And basically, for it to run, he had to seek outside funding, which is obviously Delos. And obviously in there, it was an angel investor. And the fact is, yeah, it gets to a point where, like, they don't like it, the fact that they have to look out to all these people. It's their creation, but they need somebody else that comes in to obviously keep it running, to keep it going. And, like, he's got to abide by William's rules and Delos's, even though it's his park, it's his creation, it's for his mind, do you know what I mean? And he's the one, really, that should be having all the success, not them. And it's just like in that one where he starts to get resentful, and it's like, look, mate, you know, as the restaurant's closing down, as I'm coming to an end, I'm going to take it all down with me. You know, it's not yours. You're not benefiting from it. It was mine. And I'm going to destroy it. And that was pretty much like that film in terms of what they done. They done it in a different way. But it's similar to me anyway, watching this in terms of that. Like, he's going out, he's going to bow out, but he wants to do it in one final way that could actually, you know, maybe ruin the park, you know, destroy Delos's plan. I don't know what it is, but it seems like, obviously, he's the creator slash idea maker and the original, you know, founder. But Delos are the ones in control, owning the park, dictate what he does. And obviously, they have an agreement that they won't touch his thing as long as they could do their own little experiments and acquire data on another side of the park that Ford don't go into. But now it's like, look, mate, one final game, sack it. He knows he's going out. He knows the board are trying to push him. So he's made it. And now, again, like I said, mate, I want to see as well what the end of the maze is.
That's close enough, Bernard. Search your mind and find a message. I have left her.
Oh, what's he left of me?
Are you ready to go?
Hey, if you know something, now is the time to fucking clue me in. What did you find in the cradle?
What they're doing to James Delos, they're doing to everyone who's ever visited the park. All the guests laid bare in code on a vast server. It's called the Forge. Imagine what one host can do with that trove of information. That's why we need to get there first.
You say you want in. Doesn't sound like the daughter I know.
In some cases, the ends justify the means. I get the data you have access to here. Genetic, epigenetic, that's easy. You'd need a complete picture, a record of the internal process of their cognition. Where's the scanner?
It was built in.
What, to the hearts?
Didn't matter who they said they were. We saw inside them down to the core.
I want to know why she did it.
What a night for you, Billy. I think my dad would have actually been proud of you. Sorry, I know how you hate it when I call you Billy. Exactly do you do in the park? Logan told me stories, but I just didn't believe it. I thought he was hysterical. I remember when we first met, and I was surrounded by all of those phonies for so many years. And then there was you. You wore that little shabby suit. The only one not faking it. It turns out you're the only one any good at faking it.
Yeah.
No, you don't touch me, you liar! You fucking phony! Sweetheart, you want her to see me like this? What is it? You're gaslighting her too now?
Look at you. We're gonna have to take you back.
That was a horrible place. They made me feel like I was crazy.
And they treat you like an addict, which you are.
Honey, your father doesn't love me. He doesn't love you either. I do. I always have.
You know what, right? This is me as a personality. I don't care how old I am. Yeah, I could be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. If my partner ever said anything like that around me, about me, I would be done with them. Like, for me as well, I don't know, man. You get what is one chance. Like, if I'm there and they're telling me that I'm a virus, I infected them, my family, my company, trying to gaslight in front of my kid, telling my kid that I don't love him, I'd be like, that's it, mate. It's too far. There's boundaries, and that's crossed it. We're done. Like we're done. That's me anyway. That whole time, because what I've listened to throughout the show, she was saying, Emily, about her dad, that her mum was the only one that actually seen him for who he truly was. So all this time, for all these years, she believed her dad was great and stuff like that, but the mum was the first one to do it, and obviously, like, she killed herself because she wanted to get away from him. Do you know what I mean? She blamed him for the death, but then earlier on, like in this season, she apologized for it. But like, so these are the only bits of info that we got so far. We've not really seen their relationship and how he's reacted around her. But like, from what I've seen in this episode, 25 minutes in, yeah, William has done nothing to his wife. He didn't say anything in that situation. She was just mad at him. She hit him. She was blaming him, saying she like ruined his life. hasn't done anything. Like, from what I've seen here, he hasn't done anything. He actually cared for her. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. I didn't like her in that situation. And from what I've seen, William in that segment was nothing like, you know, it's been portrayed in previous story. So I'm interested to see where it goes. But her mum, yeah, is an addict. She looks like an alky. And, you know what I mean? Again, lashing out. I don't know. I didn't like the way she was acting then, if I'm being honest.
Would you ever love me if you keep pretending?
Here, drink this. Come on, you feel better. Was drunk, upset.
She often was. Why did this night end differently? That's what I can't figure out. I just got off the phone with Dr. Woodward. He'll be here in the morning. She's going to be involuntarily committed to her doctor's care. It's the right thing to do.
Imagine that. There's still no real explanation why, though, is there? Do you know what I mean? That didn't really explain why she's just done that then. She just went to bed drunk and then ended up killing herself.
This is sadistic, Robert. There's enough bullshit. It's cleverly disguised. Well, I see through it.
I think you're on your own little tailor-made narrative.
If the real Emily were ever here, she's either at an extraction point by now or she's long gone.
You want the truth? You've been hiding in these false realities so long. You've completely lost your grip on this world, on what's real. When this is all done, I'm gonna expose your research project, along with you. I'm gonna lock you up. Just like we were gonna do to Mom.
Just like you did to Mom.
I blamed myself for her death. But then I stopped because I had someone else to blame. I read your profile. Mom left it for me.
I want to see what's on that card. Big time. Yeah, I want to see more of their story, to be fair.
That's the boss.
He is going a bit crazy, isn't he, really? Oh, we don't even get to see if she's a real host or a real person or what.
Those were real people.
Oh.
I never told anyone about my profile. The only other way she could have known is you.
Well, maybe that is his daughter then. She's got to be dead, though. If that is a human. Oh, that was interesting, that, actually. You know what I mean? It really, really was. Now, his profile, I want to see it. Their story was interesting, to be honest, because I was just saying there, from what I've just seen with his wife and with him, I didn't like his wife. I feel like he was fine. He didn't do anything. He kind of supported her. He took her upstairs, give her, you know, water. He went downstairs, you know what I mean? Like, he sat down, you speak it to Emily. She was the one that's saying that she wanted to put her into, you know, into rehabilitation. She was the one that made the phone call. Then obviously she's killed herself. They've gone upstairs. You know, she was saying that she blamed herself for her mum's death, but then she found more information. Then she blamed him for her mum's death. And then obviously she was saying that she read his profile and he was like, I didn't tell anybody about the profile. And he slipped that little card into that book dinner, but obviously she's found it. She's got it here. Now, the thing is, he should have waited until she was scanned, because they do it, don't they? They go over, they scan you. If you're human, you're okay. If you're not, they kill you. That's just the way they've been doing it. Like, he jumped the gun too quick. He was cleared, and he just turned and put it on all of them. Now, I do think it's good, actually, how he's consistently trying to think. Is that Ford? Is he playing with me? Is he messing with it? What's his thing here and there? He's saying that he didn't tell anybody about his profile. But that doesn't mean that it's not out there to be found, because it was on that card, and he's got it. And now she had it, and, you know, and he's took it off her. Now, if that is actually his daughter, he's just shot her up. Like, again, it's going to be one of them things that I'm going to say is that she should be dead, regardless of whether she is human or not now, and it's Mr. Like, in real life, you get a machine like that gun put into you, even 3 or 4 bullets, with no ambulance, no resources, no medical supplies around you, you're dead. You are. He should have been dead, the amount of bullets he took a couple of episodes back. You have to forget that it is a show, but yeah, in my opinion, she should be gone now. There's no way that her normal human mortal self should be able to come back after getting hit that many times.
Mankind is poised midway between the gods and the beast. That may have been true in Plotinus' time, but clearly we have fallen quite a bit since then. What have they done to you, Maeve? I had a different story in mind for you. Riding far away from here to freedom. Look at the creatures you have to share this world with. All this ugliness, all this pain can patch a hole in their own broken code. You, Maeve, were my favorite. It isn't easy to contemplate letting your children die. You were as close as I got to having one. You stayed here in this world to save your child. So have I. You've come so far, and so much of your story left to tell. It's a shame to let them end it here. Don't let them.
Unlocking my core premonitions. Lucky dominate, Maeve. Let's go.
They're dead.
Yeah, and armed. At least we can get some ammunition.
Leave me alone.
In it.
Choices. This isn't just about you. There's the origin of an entire species.
I'm gonna do it my way.
I do like how Ford's there though. I think the show's got better since he's been in it, if I'm being honest.
You are the only one who can stop it. Stop all of it.
Oh, it looks like he might have done it then. He has. He only does bring violence though, doesn't he? Ford, let's be honest.
What the fuck happened to you?
I didn't want to take any risks. QA will track you down.
You're gonna leave me here?
Next time you see me, you can decommission me, out me, whatever you like. But right now, I have to go.
Yeah, at least he didn't kill her though. Ford was going for it. Ford's consistent in that she'll betray him, but I don't know, man. I do like her. I don't think she will. So he's left her then. He's left Emily.
Tell me the truth.
I'm assuming she's seen him drop it in then. That's what I'm saying.
No one else sees it. This thing in me. And then one day, it was there, a stain. The darkness was what was underneath. I tried to do right. I was faithful, generous. I built a wall and tried to protect you and Emily. But you saw right through it, didn't you? And for that, I am truly sorry. Everything you feel is true. I don't belong to you or this world.
I don't think again, like, he said anything bad there. He said that he loved her. He tried to protect her and Emily. I'm excited to see what's on this thing though.
If you keep pretending, you're not gonna remember who you are.
This is what I want to see, man. Is it? I feel like it's a hoax. I don't know.
Are you real?
That's what I am actually interested in, that one. The thing is, right, I physically don't get what, like, she's that mad about. I don't know, man. Like, what I've seen in this episode, he's not been bad to his wife at all. He said the right things. He didn't judge her. He didn't hit her back when she hit him. He let her, like, go mad at him, blame him. He didn't say he wanted to take her into rehab. He took her upstairs, put her in bed, give her a drink. Told in that clip there, he told her he loved her, told her he's tried to protect her and Emily, tried to keep two worlds apart. Yeah, he said obviously he thought he was a good guy, but then obviously darkness crept in. You know, he's always tried to put this wall up and separate himself from one world to another. You know what I mean? He was saying that she was the only one that could actually see the darkness though. So the William that he was inside of this park here, going around killing people, fighting, doing the things, all the crazy stuff. You know, he's always had that darkness inside of him, but he's always tried to obviously offset that for this world and obviously have his family and Emily and his wife in the real one. The information that was on that card right then, I just seen what everybody else normally does. But, you know, Emily said she's seen it and she's, and she blamed him for the mum's death in the end. So, I don't know, I think I personally need more information on him and the background and the story with him, because in terms of being a bad husband, treating his wife not well, and seeing information on that card enough to kill yourself, and then blaming him for your mum's death, I personally not seen something that bad in this episode with the information they've given me for that to be the case.
We gotta keep on, Teddy.
Just taking in the natural splendor. That's what you used to say. Except there isn't a trace of nature in any of it, is there?
We're the first creatures in this world to make a real choice.
We were so in love. No matter what happens, no matter how I change, or how much you change me.
Again, you, look, do you know what I mean?
You have been since the first time I laid eyes on you. I remember now. Bring yourself online. Do you know where you are? I'm in a dream. Honestly, I remember you. I remember worrying you were cold. From that day forward, I never wanted to leave your side. Which is why this is so hard. What's the use of surviving if we become just as bad as them?
You don't want to hurt me, Teddy.
No, I could never hurt you, Dolores. I'll protect you until the day I die. I can't protect you anymore.
That was an interesting way to finish the episode. Like, it really was, actually. You know, I like what he just said to her there. What's the use of surviving or changing or something if you're just going to be as bad as them? It's pretty good, mate. It is pretty good. What was the show that we watched recently? I think it was, yeah, in the 100s, you know, they said doing the right thing the wrong way is not doing the right thing. Something like that anyway. I really enjoyed it. It made sense at the time. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, trying to do the right thing, but if you go the wrong way about it, then really you've not done the right thing, have you? And that's kind of like Dolores here. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's trying to do her thing, but the wrong way. And basically she's just becoming the people that she wants to kind of eliminate. She's just becoming one of them, but a different version. And it's interesting the way he's kind of come round to see that and thinks, you know what I mean? That's it, it's my time to go. Now, again, my question would be is, can he come back now? Has he gone out the show forever? And the same with Angela. Because we was told the central server room that had the host's data and all of their, you know, backups, that was destroyed. It was, wasn't it? She pulled the pin, the grenade went, explosion, gone. And now, obviously, the hunt down is basically for her to get to the server of... well, pretty much the same data, but instead of it being from the host, it's from the guests. And that seems to be what we've been told in this episode. It seems to be that maybe the end of the maze is the guests, is the guest data unit. I've always wondered what it would be, but I kind of took that from this episode, that's where they want to go. You know, you've got two locations. You had one in the facility that had all the host backup. You got one here that has all of the guest backup, and they're using this data. That's what, you know, Bernard, I think, was saying to Elsa when he was trying to tell her, you know, when Ford was like, look, mate, don't tell her anything, she's going to betray you. But he did reveal it, and he was saying it's the reason why they want to get there, because imagine all of this data, all of this information that the host can use if it gets in their hands. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's true, mate. There's so much data there, it's crazy. Now, again, we know that everybody's still searching for it. And we pretty much focused on... we didn't really use the Ghost Nation, did we, in this episode? We used them last episode. We've seen them encounter Dolores there. They had a little bit of a fight. Kind of felt like the scrap that they had was the first clip that we seen on the tablet at the start of the episode when they come in and he was reviewing it and he was seeing what happened. And, you know, Dolores went over and she was like, look, mate, you know, this journey isn't for all of us, or we're not all meant to make it to the other side or something before she shot them. I feel like that was that clip. And then, obviously... he's let one of them run off. Now, we've seen it earlier on in the season as well. He's supposed to execute that guy, and he let them run off as well. But then they ended up getting killed, didn't they? Because they didn't take the second lease on life. They was proper arseholes, and then it was Lawrence that ended up shooting them, wasn't it? Now, again, you know, I think he got killed a couple of episodes back when I was saying William should have died when he got hit loads of times in the park. Now, Maeve, she's been hit loads of times. They still haven't stitched her up, but she's still there. Ford was speaking to her, which I think's good. You know what I mean? He was saying that she was his favourite creation. And, you know, basically everybody will do whatever. She done whatever it took to protect her child. You know, he gave her a way out to get on the train, and she ended up stopping and staying in the facility because, you know, she wanted to save her. And now he's saying, like, he admires it. He had obviously a different plan for her, but now he'll do the same, and he'll do anything that he can to protect his child, which he's seen as her. And then he gave her a kiss before he obviously, like, left the room. And I thought, oh, that was interesting as well. I actually really liked that that conversation between them. So it looks like Bernard's kind of deleted Ford out of his mind now, but I'm hoping that's not the last of him, because I do think that having Ford in the show makes it better. I do. I'm not saying that, like, the start of the season wasn't good, but what I just feel like he's so interesting. Having him in the show just makes it better than not having him. You know what I mean? That's just as simple as Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It was a great first season. Add Danny DeVito in, it got even better. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that it was crap season one. It was just that you added somebody else in and the show was just better. And that's just the same with him. I feel like the show's good, but when you got Ford in there, mixing it up, you know, going in there, talking to people, telling Bernard what to do, speaking to me, trying to help her, writing codes, infiltrating areas. I feel like it's just good. Even the backstory there with William and the card and everything like that. I just think having it in, the last 3 episodes have been really, really good. And I'm excited to see, obviously, what the final episode brings. What actually, you know, William does now, like, in the present because he looked like he was going to kill himself, but he didn't. And then obviously the rest of the storyline with obviously Sizemore, what's going on with Maeve, and you know, what's Dolores doing now that Teddy's killed himself. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to find out. Okay, now it's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So I thought it was interesting. We tried to tell the William storyline, obviously like his connection between his daughter and his wife, and I don't know, the whole premise is pretty interesting, to be honest. You know, with that, I've been told earlier on in the season that the mum killed herself because of obviously William, and you know, the daughter blamed him after finding out information, basically, and she blamed him for the death. Now, today's episode, they tried to explain that and show that, but I don't know, man. Like, in my personal opinion, I don't think they've shown it that well or shown that much information that shed him in a bad light if it was his fault that she died. Like, I just can't see it. So, all episode, they was saying, well, basically, they was at a party, an event, and it was for William. Now, obviously, here at the event, he was just chatting and talking, and his wife was drinking, and she wasn't doing anything that bad there, if I'm being honest. She was just, you know, she knocked a couple of glasses over, it seemed like, you know, while he was having a conversation with Ford. But I don't think it's shown him or his wife really in a bad light. And it actually shown him and Emily, like, getting on really, really well. You know, it seemed that their relationship was quite strong at that point. And he said, you know, you go home, you know, have a nightcap, you know, chill out, and I'll meet you when we get there. So, you know, all good. They went home. Wife come walking in, dropped a bag on the floor. She started like moaning at him, blaming him for stuff, saying that, you know, she used to like it when his self went around him at the first time he kind of met, because she was saying that she was surrounded by all these like rich people, like faking it, thinking that he was the best, and then it was him who didn't fit into like their world, and she seen him for being different and stuff, and that's how they connected. But really, she said, at the end of the day, you was the biggest like snake of them all. You was the same as all of them. You just disguised it better than they all could. So that was like her kind of bit of resentment towards him. And then she started going on. She started hitting him. She started blaming him. She started calling him. She started saying that, you know, trying to, well, then obviously Emily come in, and then she started moaning, saying that he was trying to gaslight her in front of Emily and all of this stuff. And then she was telling Emily that, you know, he never loved her, only I do, he's a monster and all this stuff. And up until that point, literally, William hadn't done anything or said anything bad about his wife at all. Like, he really didn't. It was 25 minutes in at this point. They took her upstairs, put her into bed, you know, give her some water, saying that, you know, drink this, feel better in the morning, tucked her in, put the card in the book. Literally didn't do anything bad. Then fast forward a little bit later on into the episode, we kind of got a different scene out of that. We seen him sit there at the end of the bed, and when she said, tell me something that's just real, do you know what I mean, tell me. And then he ended up explaining the stuff about like how, you know, he's got a dark side, and he goes there and he does this, and he tried to, you know, change himself in like one world and then one in the other. He kind of, the bad personality push away. He always wanted to love and protect Emily and his wife, and he tried to put this wall up between them and the two boundaries, you know what I mean? But his wife was always able to see through it, you know what I mean? Like, no matter how many times he went to the park and acted and done this and tried to get out that personality, you know, everybody else in the normal world could see him from William, but they couldn't see him from that side. But she just seen right through it and seen both and didn't like it. Now, again, I don't think he said anything that bad there. He actually didn't. He just explained to me how people usually go to the park and what they do. And then he ended up going over and putting that card in the book again. And when he left the room, she awoke. She went over, she got it, she sat down, she put it on the tablet, she was watching him. Now, unless there was really more information on that tablet that was yet to see, or like I just didn't focus on all the little writing that was being shown, all I could see is a couple of clips of him being there, putting his hat on, shooting a couple of people, do you know what I mean, tying people up, doing the stabbings and the killings, the way I see everybody doing it, literally just everybody. I didn't see, what I'm trying to say is I didn't see nothing revolutionary and different and crazy showing that he was a bad person compared to what we see all of the other guests do when they go to the park. And then he went downstairs and he was speaking to his daughter, and she was saying, I'm going to put her in a, you know, facility. I've spoken to the doctor, he's coming in the morning to pick her up. You know, she has got a drinking problem, she needs to go to rehab. And then the water started coming down from the ceiling, and he ran upstairs and she's killed herself. You know, she's took an overdose and it looked like she's cut her wrists and she's died. Now, obviously, his daughter in the present is telling him, look, I blame, well, basically she was saying, look, I blame myself personally at the time for this. I thought that it was my fault that she killed herself because of what she done and her decision, but the information that she found out on this card, you know, changed her mind, and that's why she believes it was him. And I was like, but what though? I've just looked at that card and I don't think it was that bad. And then she said, look mate, you know, all cards on the table, you want me to reveal it? You know, she was here, she was trying to pretend that she wants to rekindle the relationship with her dad and all that, and she just said, look mate, you know, at the end of the day, I want to destroy you or take it down. You know, I wanted to lock mum up at that time, and now I want to lock you up. You know, I want to expose you for all the data that you've been gathering on everybody. I want to destroy all your plans and all your wishes, and I want you to get arrested and get put away for everything that you've been doing. So do you know what I mean? Like, she's spiteful as well, to be honest. And personally, for all that is because of what was on that card that was on that desk. Mate, I see it all the time. 2 seasons in now, I've seen nothing crazy. And then when the people come to rescue them, he's you know, been scanned, all clear. She was getting scanned, he didn't wait. He thought that she was kind of part of the game, grabbed all the guns, bam, 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 killed them all. Looked like he killed her as well. Realised that it could possibly actually have been her because she was holding the card. And then obviously he's gone in the field, gone to shoot himself, but ended up not doing. So I thought it was an interesting story that they've been telling with him. But yeah, I feel like the way I should have read the situation, or I don't know if the way they wanted me to read it with this episode, has not gone down the way I've took it. I don't know. Like I said, I personally think everything that I've seen of William in this episode wasn't enough to hate your dad, wasn't enough to want to destroy the park, wasn't enough for your wife to want to kill herself. Do you know what I mean? I just think it was just standard normal park behaviour. But they do kind of keep referencing his arm. He's looked at it a couple of times, and then at the end, he stabbed himself. So it's like, is he a host or not? Have they managed to, whatever they've done to Delos and it didn't work, successfully done it to him? I don't know, do you know what I mean? I'm excited to find out, but that's where we currently are. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please smash a like, really helps out. Subscribe if you do. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.